Good morning, everybody. It's Monday, January 23. Barry Fair with you. It's coming up to 9:30. I hope you've all had a good weekend and a good night's sleep. Well, coming up on today's show, which will be coming up in under half an hour, I will be talking about the reasons why I decided to leave Queensland and what the future holds for me. So please do stay tuned for that. Well, just going over what we talked about last week on episode 69 and 70. Okay, we made an egg and bacon pie last week. So that video is up there for you now. Okay, so if you are an egg and bacon pie lover, then follow the recipe. All you've gotta have is some bacon and dozen eggs and some pastry. And what you've got to do is crack your eggs in, okay, and then they will cook. And then the bacon will cook as well. Okay, so put your pastry on the top, put your mixture in a good baking tin, guys, and if you'd like, you can brush the top of the pastry with the milk, okay, and when you brush your pastry, guys, it gives it that nice golden brown color when it comes out of the oven. So, egg and bacon pie, why don't you try and make it? It's that simple, guys. That's all you've got to do. Okay, so, and another easy recipe is White Christmas. Okay, that video is up for you now also. So why don't you go ahead and make it? So I will just give you the recipe for that now. So you need some rice bubbles, cocoa, a desiccated coconut, okay, some dried fruit, some apricots, okay, and some glazed cherries, okay. So, and then you melt your cocoa and then you pour it over and then mix all the ingredients together, guys. And that's all you've got to do. Pour your mixture into a good tin and put it in the fridge for a couple of hours to set, okay? And then once it is set, cut the White Christmas into squares and then serve. But we called it white yam last week. So why call it White Christmas after Christmas when you can make white yam all year round? So there's an answer you've got to think about here. So in the studio will be coming up in around 23 minutes time, so I will take a break and then come back to you. Excuse me. I will take a break and then come back to you at 10 o'clock. The time is coming up to 23 minutes to 10. It's Monday, the 23rd of January, 2023. Thanks for waking up with me today. Good morning again, everyone, and welcome back to episode 71. Or welcome to episode.
Not 71, is it? Yes, it is.
It is.
Wow.
So, welcome to episode 71. And Barry Fear and Mark English with you just after 10 o'clock here. Welcome to Monday, January 23rd. Well, firstly on the show, some sad news. Okay. Australian music legend Renee Geyer passed away late last week. Now, if you remember some of her hits, such as Stairs and Whispers, Say I Love You, It's a Man's World, Do You Know What I Mean? Um, Tender Hooks, Moving Along, Heading in the Right Direction, If Loving You Is Wrong, and many others. Here's Mark now. Good morning.
Good morning, Barry. You certainly do seem to have a good handle on Renee Gayer's hits. Whilst I remember her, I certainly wouldn't have been able to name any, well, more than two of those songs, probably, if I was lucky.
So, Renee Gayer's hit, It's a Man's World, that came out in the year 1974. Now, 1975, right, saw the hit Ready to Deal. Now, this was from an album called Babes, which I had on cassette. And I had an album called Moving Along. And the title track from that, Heading in the Right Direction. Now, track 5 was Stairs and Whispers. That was from 1977. Okay. And Ready to Deal was from 1975. So another music legend bites the dust. But Renee's music will always be with us in her spirit. Here's Mark now.
Yes, at least she has a very clear legacy that she's left behind, Barry. So I'm sure she'll be well remembered for a very long time.
And another song she sang was the theme from The Restless Years. Now, if you were around when The Restless Years were on, a popular theme song, and The Restless Years, of course, produced by the Grundy organization, who are now called Fremantle Media. So, rest in peace, Renee. You will be sorely missed, but your music and legacy will live on forever in our hearts. Here's mine.
Yes, I'm sure that her legacy will survive for many years. And as you said, Barry, you know, having been a fan, she's going to live on in your heart forever. So she is well remembered.
Because I grew up listening to some of the music. And I've got one of her albums, I think. So, another bit of news I've got to tell you viewers out there. I might as well give you the sad news first before the good news. On the 20th of February will see the end of this program, as I will be leaving to go back to NSW. Now, also today we'll be going over some of the topics we've talked about and putting together a collage of the show, bits and pieces of the show from early this year and last year. So why don't you come on the journey with us? Here's Mark.
Looking forward to that, Barry. So a bit of a compilation would be very nice. You'll be able to show me how the editing deck works.
And also today we're going to be talking about how to donate to Lifeline again. So we might as well do that now. Okay. Dig deep in your pockets, guys. If you've got $5, $10, $15, donate to Lifeline, guys, because they are an excellent rescue service, a 24-hour service, guys. No one ever pays for it, okay? But remember, only use those services in an emergency. Here's Mark.
Absolutely, you're correct, Barry. So it is an emergency service, and hopefully it doesn't get cranked to the point of putting a chopper in the air for no reason. But when there are emergencies that require very fast access to patients or conditions and then getting them back to suitable care, an absolute marvel.
But remember, guys, don't bring them for prank call, idiotic calls. Don't send out false distress signals, because again you could divert the chopper could be on its way to a real emergency, and the chopper may get diverted to something that hasn't really happened, and we will discuss this at length today on the show, or bring it up again at the end of the show today, and also going over some of the history of the show. We've got a big show coming up for you today, and here's Mark to tell you about it.
Thanks, Barry. Yes, I can see we're going to be hopping to get everything done, given that you've just surprised me with your exit date, because I thought it was going to be the 9th of March, but it's obviously been moved forward, and it sounds like that week in February where it's, you said the 20th, is that an actual
Monday, the day. So, Monday, I'll just pause that. Fine. So, the last two shows here, will be on Monday the 13th and 14th of February. So mark that down in your diary, guys. Mark and I have got a bumper show to bring you that week, and it's the farewell week. Here's Mark to tell you about it.
Yes, so the farewell week obviously is, from my point of view, going to be the 13th and 14th of February. So if Barry leaves on the 20th, that means our last show is going to be the 14th. So it's looming quickly now, because that's only, 3 weeks?
Yeah.
So three more weeks after this, and we will be bringing the show to a close. Hopefully with a closing the loop on starting on the Story Bridge and then finishing on the Story Bridge. And in the meantime, I'm sure there'll be a few compilations.
And we are going to put them together today with our show. So, before we do go to the break, the breakfast break, I said last night on an update which you'll be able to see, okay, the reasons why I wanted to leave. Okay. Now, you know when something doesn't fit on your foot, you think, ouch, that's too tight, I'm going to get a blister. Well, you think the shoes are going to fit, but no, you think, ow, they're causing a lot of pain. Take it off. Here's Mark now.
So the analogy of your shoe fitting is like your life fitting.
Yeah.
And if your shoe doesn't fit, it's going to give you blisters. And if the life that you're leading doesn't suit you, you're going to get grief. And to that end, you knew that you weren't happy at Bray Park. So hopefully the move back to Sydney and get back to your roots with your family and your friends. And, considering you've been there for such a long time before you moved to Queensland, you had a real network of people. And you moved up here to where you had no one effectively. So, and it doesn't, I personally don't think that catching up on devices is anything like actually catching up with people. So, I fully understand why you want to move back to Sydney and re-engage with all those people that you've got, decades of relationship with.
So, today we're going to give you a real history of the show. Not only in Bray Park, but some of the memories here as well. It is. Sometimes we have to make decisions that we don't want to make. But like Mark said, if the shoe on the foot is going to give you blisters and the life that you are going to live, it's going to give you grief. So our advice to you today out there, to those watching the show, please don't let the hole grow big. Don't let yourself go, and and then you can't get out. You won't be able to get out. Here's Mark.
Yeah, so I think what you mean is don't sit and whinge and tolerate or just feel miserable for yourself without doing something about it. Do something about it and get yourself sorted so that you don't have to just tolerate life and you get to do what you want.
And don't listen to what other people think, because if they don't like what you're doing or what you say, just politely say, I'm sorry guys, but I've made that decision. I respect what you want to do, so please respect my decision. And that's all you've got to do, guys, out there. Don't let someone else's opinion fall on top of you. Here's Mark.
You're absolutely right, Barry. Other people will have vested interest in what you do for whatever reasons, and it's not up to you to please them by changing your life to suit other people. You know, you should be looking at your life to lead as you want to lead and enjoy it as you want to enjoy it. And if other people don't like that or can't cope with it, they'll just have to learn to let it go.
Because it's like putting the keys in their own ignition and driving their car on your footpath. And if people keep doing it, then eventually you will just go snap and then blow up. So again, as we go out to the break, don't let other people control your life. Be a man about it. Okay, because everyone, that includes Mark, because like I'm sure he wouldn't want someone interfering with his decisions. Okay? So that goes for all of you out there. Please don't, and we repeat, don't let other people tread on your soil, on your ground. You construct something, don't let other people ruin it by placing their crap onto you. Here's Mark.
No, that's quite right, Barry. It's not for them to be telling you how you should lead your life. Them. You should be leading your life to suit you. And if they don't, then as we said, they just need to move on or let it go.
So to say, I'm sorry, but I do not like what you are suggesting. Okay, thanks for your opinion, but no thanks. Don't eat something that someone has put on your plate. It's like eating, it's like someone forcing you to eat something that you might not like. So please, guys, don't be a mouse. Don't be timid. Come out of your shell and say something. Like I've done. And that's all you've got to do. Nothing is wrong with speaking up. If you sit back and shut up, then people are just gonna open your door, open your can of worms, and decide what's best for you. And here's Mark to take us out to the breakfast break with that.
Thanks, Barry. Yes, as Barry's absolutely correct. You should be thinking entirely about making decisions based on what you want and what's best for you. And as we've said before, it's other people to let it go. It's not their right or role to tell you how to live your life.
And even if I wanted to go to the hospital and someone said no, I would say, excuse me, you are not in control. So again, if someone tries to stop you, please just let them be. They're not worth knowing about. Okay? They're not worth talking to or listening to, because just because they've had a shocking start to the week or day or same thing, okay, don't listen to them. Press the stop button, ignore them, and just walk away. And that's where we like to close the intro of episode 71 today. And coming up, we have the recap of the 2 recipes that we brought to you last week. And stay with us. You're watching episode 71. And Derek, if you are watching, good morning to you. And Julianne down in Sydney, good morning to you also. Thank you for helping me. And here's Mark to tell you what's coming up on the rest of this day's show.
All right, thanks, Barry. Well, it sounds like we're going to be doing a recap of the history of the show, not just Out and About, but all of Barry's YouTube productions. And we'll be running through the recipes for the sausage rolls and White Christmas, or White Yum as it's been renamed.
And the egg and bacon pie, so.
And the egg and bacon pie, which, we'll run through it, but it'll be quick.
It's a simple recipe, so guys, stay with us. Plenty more coming up on the show today. This is episode 71, coming to you from lovely Ebu Vale, Bentwood Drive. You know where to ride in if you'd like to ride in over the next 3 weeks. So, but if you don't feel like riding in, don't force yourself. So we will go over all of this today on the show. We've got a smorgasbord of things to talk to you about after the break. So stay with us. Don't go away. It's coming up to 10:30. It's Monday, January 23. Mark English and Barry here with you. Welcome back to episode 71 now. 20 past 11 here on this Monday morning. Good morning to you, and welcome to wherever you may be watching our show today. And welcome along to you and to everyone. Well, now it's time to recap the 2 recipes that we whipped up last week. The first of them was the bacon and egg pie. Now, who can resist the bacon and egg pie? Well, I certainly can't, and Mark certainly can't. So here's how you make it. Firstly, you need half a dozen eggs, fresh ones of course, then some bacon, some salt and pepper, some good quality pastry, guys, none of the cheap, crappy, nasty stuff, okay? A good baking dish and you're ready to go. So joining me now in the studio, here's Mark English. Good morning again. Welcome back.
Good morning, Barry. Good morning, viewers. Thanks for having me.
So, you simply crack your eggs, okay, into the pastry, but be careful not to miss the pan, okay? And dice up some bacon, add that in, okay? So, once you've done that, you can add your salt and pepper, okay? And if you feel like it, add some mixed herbs as well. Here's Mark.
Spot on, Barry. So line your pie tin slash whatever tin you're using or plate for the pie to line it with your puff pastry. And as Barry said, it is as simple as breaking the eggs into it and adding some salt and pepper, give it a bit of a slosh around with the fork. You can either do that before or after, depending on how careful you are. If you don't want to drag holes through your pastry, a quick mix. It doesn't need to be all beaten together, just mix together. And pour it into the tin and put your bacon in that's all chopped up, ready to go. So we cut the rinds off and then cut it into like 1 centimetre squares, and that's it. You put it in there and put your pie lid on, and if you're going to completely cover it with pastry, you've just got to put holes in the pastry to let the gas breathe out.
Or the air breathe out.
And into the oven. Takes about half an hour, if not a little bit more. We did it at 180, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
So 180 for half an hour and good to go.
So
I was going to say, don't forget to either use a bit of milk or egg wash on your pastry to get a nice colour.
So that's all you've got to do, guys, and you can serve it on its own or with a bit of a side salad to go with it. Yum.
Absolutely.
Now, the next recipe we whipped up the other day was called White Christmas, but we decided to rename it White Yum. So, what you do is get some Kellogg's rice bubbles, some Angus Park apricots, some cherries, some desiccated coconut, okay, some cocoa. Well, you will have to melt that, okay, and then you mix and your sultanas. Nearly forgot them. Okay, so after you've mixed all your ingredients together, okay, did I say the dried apricots? Yes, I did.
Yes, so the apricots and the tarnies, the desiccated coconut, We forgot the powdered milk
and the powdered milk, so
and the icing sugar.
and the icing sugar. So once you've mixed all your ingredients in, okay, pour your melted vegetable shortening over, then mix it in and spoon it into a good prepared tin line with baking paper, guys, and stick it in the fridge until it is set. But remember, don't eat it all at once.
Yes, it would be quite a little calorie hit, I suspect, given that it's a 250 gram block of kofa, which is essentially coconut oil. And
I said vegetable shortening. So
yes, it is. Well, it's vegetable shortening as well, which is a broader description, but typically it's 99.9% coconut oil. And so I'm thinking the other 0.1's just for maybe something else gets into it, I'm not sure. But so the 250 gram block of kofa, 3 cups of rice bubbles, 1 cup of dried fruit, whichever combination of things you like. Pardon me. Barry likes the sultanas and apricot, but you can use all the mixed dried fruit that you get at Christmas time, which has all the lemon peel and orange peel mixed in as well. So whatever your personal preference is, and some glacé cherries for decorating the top. Again, personal preference. But it's just a matter of, as Barry said, you mix your 3 cups of rice bubbles, your cup of coconut, your cup of fruit, and a cup of milk powder, and 3/4 of a cup of icing sugar, which should really be sifted just to break up the lumps. But it doesn't make a lot of difference if you don't sift it. So, and mix all your dry ingredients together, give them a good mix up, and then add your kofa. And as Barry said, mix it all together until it's the same consistency throughout, and put it in the pan and into the fridge. And essentially you're done. Then it just needs to be up for storage.
and you can serve it, share it around with your friends. So while the school holidays in Queensland have ended, okay, we hope that you've enjoyed them. So why don't you get the kids in the kitchen next weekend and whip up those 2 recipes that we've spoken about today on the show. And
Yes, life doesn't get much easier when it comes to cooking.
It does not. Now I would like to talk about my reasons for leaving. Okay? Now in April last year, I became a bit overwhelmed, and then homesickness set in. Now I've spoke about homesickness before pardon me, I spoke about homesickness before I got on the plane to come here, and we're going to talk about that now. Okay, so homesickness, guys, is basically when you are away from your family, your friends, and your loved ones, and you're not used to living in a different state, in a different house with different people, and your routine is all out of whack. Like a car who that needs a wheel alignment. It Mark.
Yes, you were certainly not coping well with the changes, and you knew pretty much as soon as you moved in, didn't you, that you were missing home essentially, and all those strong connections that you had with family and friends. So it's not surprising that it would have been a very lonely house for you when you moved in.
And I was not familiar with the place. Now, guys, to be quite honest with you, no, it's not that I didn't like Queensland, or I don't like Queensland to be exact. It's just that it is time for me to move back to a comfortable pair of shoes, because the Queensland shoes are not a comfortable fit. Now, whilst I am up here in this beautiful house and enjoying the surroundings, okay, it doesn't take away the fact that I've missed all my friends and my loved ones. Here's Mark.
Yes, so I know you're excited about going home and being able to catch up with them. So, it's been a long time coming. And I think in some respects, some of the, I don't want to say drama,
Some of the dilemmas,
some of the dilemmas thrown up with getting your move organised.
like some of them,
Yes, some of that.
well, some of that has been thrown up as well, so it's been a roller coaster ride.
It has been a roller coaster ride, but you are so close to the end now that we're talking inside a month. So that in itself must give you heart that it's not that much longer to wait now.
It's not, and when you look at it, just think how frustrated I was in May last year, where I went bang, 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 bang. I was so cranky, it was not funny. I had meltdowns all the time, and then COVID, and it was not a good mix. So from April to now, well, I reckon I'm just about home and host.
Well, we certainly hope so, Barry.
Well, done and dusted is what I'm looking for.
Yep.
So on Thursday, I got a call from Julianne, okay, asking whether I'd like to go to a respite house first, and I immediately approved. So, guys, this is where it gets a little bit mushy here. Well, not mushy, but what began on April 5th last year is about to come to an end. And today, Mark and I are going to be transferring some of our shows that we've done from last year and even to now into a collage show. So we'd like you to come on a journey with us so that we can take you back to where it all began. Here's Mark.
Yep, so we'll be recapping and highlighting the last, what is it now, Barry? 8 months
8 months.
of doing shows and catching up and getting out and about. So hopefully you can tune in and reminisce across the spectrum of places that Barry's been and the experiences that you've had up here. So there's no shortage.
So it is with sadness, guys, that we have to say it, but you know, it's with happiness as well that I did get that news. And I'd like to tell you how I got that. Well, just before episode 47 went, where on Monday I got the news that I was hunting for. And what did I do to celebrate it? You guessed it. Well, you don't need to guess it, because where did we go? Shad Pine into the Soul Orange. And here's Mark to tell you about that adventure.
Yes, well, you have developed a bit of a taste for the Soul Origin chicken schnitzel panini, and so a bit of chicken snitty on obviously a panini with a bit of salad, and well, we go sauceless, don't we, Barry? So it's just a bit of salad, and it is absolutely one of your favourites. And it did lead to us cooking a few snitties at home as well for yourself.
So we've had like really good fun times. And right now we're going to share with you some of the shows that we have done. Okay, now before we take you on this journey, we'd like to tell you how I decided to call it Out and About. Well, I decided to call it Out and About because I'm thinking, well, if we're going to go out and about, okay, I might as well call it Out and About. And this was to show you viewers and those that have a disabled son or daughter the places where you might like to go in a wheelchair, and to give you a taste and a flavour of what Brisbane might be like for you people. And our first day was on the iconic Story Bridge. Now this took place before we got after we got our internet banking sorted out, or tried to get it sorted out. Okay, and it was a hell of a job. So we had to trek out into the valley to get the internet banking sorted out, and then I want to get up onto the bridge. Now, that was a heck of a walk too, and it was an overcast day when we did it. Now, I want to hand over to Mark for this. When we got onto the bridge, I had to get Mark to get him to put the umbrella on so I wouldn't get rained on. And then once we got off the bridge, okay, we waited. We ended up, outside the Story Bridge Hotel. We didn't venture in that day. And the taxi driver who we got, okay, he took us a very long way back to Bray Park, okay, and stopped the meter halfway along the gateway. The driver asked Mark which way do you want to go, and I think Mark said the shortest way. Here he is.
Yeah, so you're right. It did rain when we were crossing the bridge, but luckily it was just a sprinkle, and it only lasted for probably 2 or 3 minutes. And so, realistically, neither of us got wet, and it didn't slow us down. Rolly was up more as a precaution, I think, and the fact that the laptop was open, so just protecting that from rain as well. And yes, once we got across the bridge and then back down the other side on the Kangaroo Point side, we ended up outside the Story Bridge Hotel, thinking that it'd be a great place for a taxi to pick us up. But of course, the wheelchair accessible taxis are a bit few and far between, so we did end up waiting for a while. And yes, we did go a very long way home. And Barry's quite right. We got along the gateway, and then I think in response to me whinging so much about how much more it was costing already, he turned the meter off. So, but it was certainly going to cost you around double what it cost me going back the other way. And it was theoretically good, but for anyone that knows Brisbane, if you're on anywhere near the city, just to get out to the gateway, to get onto the gateway, you're going a long way out of the way to get onto a road that you can join where it was going to join up on the north side, and without going through the toll roads. And it was obviously incredibly further.
So, it was quite late when we got back to Bray Park. Just after 4 or 5, I think.
Yes, we've had a few late returns because of waiting for taxis, but it is unfortunately unavoidable. It'd be nice to say yes if you book them, they're always there on time, but it simply isn't true.
And because Mark and I both knew the taxis are busy for the school pickups around 2:30 in the afternoon. Okay, so I basically, okay, so we will tell you about the Scarborough incident too, where I was not very well that day. So we will cut to another shot and just a moment.